Yeah, just go over there and face it this way.
Porque también soy un cabrón. Luego voy a caminar directo al camerino. Su destino, si son bellas, es estar ahí conmigo. Les diré a mis amigos que se salgan enseguida. Después de unas bebidas beberán de mi saliva. Ya imaginan lo que viene, claro, mucha diversión. Porque saben que en la cama nadie es como yo.
Like, that's almost like... Like the one thing that I agree about.
Hello. Hey everybody, thank you for being out here. We're going to start our nightly vigil. Woo! This is beautiful to see everyone who's out here. Before we start, there was a request put in from the folks up top if we could get a few more people to back them up, maybe 5 to 10 people to go up there if you can. If you're willing to miss the vigil, the back parking lot. Thank you. What else were we not? Oh, and another thing, we're going to stay after the vigil. We're going to do our nightly meeting that we will start having here every single night after the vigil, where we collectively make decisions for the camp. If you'd like to have your voice heard for that, please stick around for after the vigil, where we will decide on different actions, different decisions that we're going to do as a community. For those who are here for the first time, I want to let you know what this camp's all about. There is no leadership in this camp. There are folks who organize things. There are folks who participate in things. Everybody has a purpose. Everybody contributes something. That's how this is. So if you want to be part of this, make sure to stick around at 8:30 at night so that you can be part of the decision-making process and help this camp grow and move forward. Yes. And please, if this is new, don't talk to cops. Talk to the reporters, tell them your story, tell them why you're down here. If you see a cop, kindly tell them to F off. Sorry, I'm really trying to tone myself down. But yes, it's beautiful to see everyone out here. As you all know, the reason that we're out here is because ICE is currently detaining families. They're separating families. They're holding children in cages, labeling them with numbers. Stories are coming out where the people are not in the facilities, are not allowed to touch the children. This is literally torture. This is human rights abuses that is taking place right now. This is a crime against humanity, and there will be a reckoning. But it's up to all of us to make sure that that happens. So the main purpose of this vigil, why we started, is to demand an end to the zero tolerance policy. Because in Portland, we have a zero tolerance for ICE bullshit. So many people have come out, so many different organizations to start this up. On the first night, we started with 5 people. 5 people in one tent. The very next night, there was about 20 people spending the night. How many people are spending the night tonight? Yeah. This is growing, and every single day the crowds get bigger. We need to spread this to other cities, though. We can't let this just stick in our little microcosm. We need to make sure to spread this message around the world. That our leaders are not doing anything. Our politicians, even if they're working, they're failing right now. There's one politician that I've seen work their ass off, Jeff Merkley, and I appreciate that greatly. But since this started on the political end, we had Chris Gorsuch from Gresham come out here, and we had Joanne Hardesty come out and support us, and that's about it. Support the people who support you. Remember them when the elections come up. So as far as that goes, It's up to you. That's the message here. The politicians aren't going to fix this for us. The leaders are not going to fix this for us. The only thing that is going to fix this is the power of the people. It's the proletariat standing up and demanding justice and not taking anything less. Thank you to everyone who came out tonight. So every night we are going to hold a vigil where we hold a moment of silence for folks to pray, meditate, whatever your beliefs may be, wherever you gain strength, however you send out your good vibrations, that's the time. We want to meditate on what it's like to lose children, to lose parents, to not be able to have access to them, to not know where they are. If you've ever lost someone like that, think about what it's like to not be with your children and just dwell on how hard that is, and then find the strength in yourself to do what it takes to make sure that that ends. Because the United States of America is not the fairy tale that we have been told all our lives. This that is happening now is not new history to Native Americans. It started a long time ago when they ripped children from their families, sent them off to internment camp, to schools. How many thousands never made it home? How many thousands died? How many traumatized children came home? How many of them faced that genocide, that they stole their culture? This isn't new history. We did it again in World War II to the Japanese Americans who were here, who had been here for years, to the ones who just got here. We put them in internment camps, what we're calling tent cities apparently nowadays. And this isn't just indigenous to America, this kind of policy. We saw this exact same progression happen in Nazi Germany. We saw Adolf Hitler other the Jews, tell everyone that they were rapists, that they were criminals, tell them that they were thieves, that they shouldn't be allowed in the country, making them less, calling them animals, murderers. How many times did he call Latinx gangsters animals? I'm sorry that they had to respond to the conditions that you created for them. They are not animals, they're human beings trying to survive in animal-like conditions created by this government and this capitalistic society.
They're human beings! Human beings!
This isn't new, and we need to be vigilant because history has shown us over and over again how this progresses. After they other the immigrants, then they start to drive them out of the country. After they start to drive them out of the country, there are attacks on them by different militant right-wing groups. After the attacks on them, then the government gets involved. After the government gets involved, there's going to be concentration camps, family separations. What came after the concentration camps? Genocide came after the concentration camps. Every single thing that Donald Trump is doing, we look at it and we say, oh, it can't get worse. Oh, it's not going to follow that same It can't get that bad. We just got pulled out of the UN Human Rights Council because of apparently they're so biased against the only apartheid regime left on the planet, the Israeli government.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
We need to support people who are fighting back. We need to support the people who are suffering. And we need to remember to support each other because this is hard work. Thank you everyone for being out here. Thank you.
Just want to say something real quick. This really started with a vigil. I woke up with a camera stuck in my face with a bright light, and I woke up in the morning, the first morning waking up here, and I see a camera pointing in my face with a bright light, and now I see many lights around me, and it's so beautiful. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you. We will not stop until this is done, and maybe go forward as well. So thank you.
Yeah.
All right, everyone. So before we hold the vigil, if there's anyone in the crowd who has a story to share, who wants to say something, we have an open mic portion for everyone to come out here and share what they have to say. If there's anyone who has anything that's weighing on their heart or something that they want to share with the crowd, something to encourage everyone, or a personal story, please feel free to come up and take the mic.
Greg. I just want to say that what's happening now is no different than what happened after or during World War II. And my mother, my uncles, and my aunts were rounded up, thrown in concentration camps. Families were separated. Fortunate for me, my family was privileged enough that my grandfather was Filipino.
Yeah!
So he didn't have to go in the damn internment camp. So he was able to save things, save the family farm, and save everything around him. But the whole thing is all just about fear and prejudice that these people feel towards these people that don't look like them. And it's just, I don't know. I don't know what else to say. I had to just say that.
Yes, absolutely. Hi, everybody. I don't have a super amazing, beautiful, personal story, but I want to say that you're all beautiful people, and I appreciate each and every one of you. It makes me so goddamn proud to be a Portlander, that this many people comes out and stands up and does the right thing. It seems like such a simple thing to us, but it's we're living in very dark times, and it fills me personally, and I'm sure it does for a lot of you too, with a lot of joy and pride in my city and in my countrymen and the people that I share this world with. I also just want to briefly say, for those that aren't aware of the full context, ICE doesn't need to exist. I'm sure some of you heard me saying it on the street corner there. It was created less than 15 years ago under the Bush administration during the Patriot Act, when we invaded Iraq and created the NSA and all this other bullshit. They're not a necessary organization to do the immigration process in this country. The entire immigration process is already taken care of. It's well documented. It's functioned literally for centuries. ICE does not need to exist. They're a domestic terrorist organization, and they're terrorizing tiny, beautiful little babies right now. So I appreciate you all standing up, and I'll stop talking now. Love you all. Thank you.
I don't know if you all are aware of how many homeless people that we have in the city.
Speak there you go.
But however, every day there are hundreds of, or many homeless people that die because they don't have shelter, or they don't have clean water, or they don't have a place to get a shower, or they don't have a bathroom to go to. And they're criminalized. There's over 200 laws in this city against homeless people just because they act differently. Well, if you were told that you were a piece of shit every day, how would you feel? This facility here is breaking up families. And you know what's also breaking up families? They take kids from us because we don't have a place to live. Okay? If we had the supports, if we had the proper things to take care of ourselves, we wouldn't be like this. It wouldn't be like that. Right. So just have remembrance for them too. And I want to pray for everybody in humanity that this stuff stops. They're breaking us down. They're putting us against each other. They're criminalizing all of us. They categorize us by income, what we look like, you know, who our friends are. It's very sad. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Jen. We came up from Eugene. I'm from DSA. Hi everyone. I want to talk a little bit about being a mother. I am a mother, and it breaks my heart that there are kids inside that the workers are not allowed to touch these children. And what I want to say is that I'm a white mother, and I got to touch my child. And that's really fucked up. And I'm calling for all white mothers and all white children to talk to their mothers and talk to everyone about getting down here and doing something for children. I see so many complacent white mothers, and we cannot let this happen. We must stand up, and we must do something. If I couldn't touch my daughter, I would die inside right now. I cannot imagine what another mother is doing right now. Thank you.
Greetings, everybody. Assalamu alaikum. Peace and blessings to everyone. Yeah, I can pretty much say that looking around, we can all agree that we're all in alignment. But true power comes with not just being here in a form of solidarity, in a vigil where we can find coping mechanisms to find way to take in and decompress just horrible stuff that we wind up hearing about. It's these events, it's these vigils that allow us to be able to come and breathe, to be able to come and cope, and then to be able to come and find tools of action, to become empowered, to leave knowing that you have a checklist. You have action items, things you can do. Be a part of something. Or just come back and participate. Stand amongst the crowd, or get to know Portland Resistance, get to know DSA. These organizations, they're not fully supported and don't get a lot of organizational support. I battle with trying to be a member of these organizations and trying to encourage organizational support. But if I can't bring that weight, then I can bring myself. And I can be amongst everybody over here and make sure that we're doing what we can and we highlight the efforts that they put together, and they don't even come here and ask for funding. They don't ask for money. So if you have privilege, use it. Dig in your pockets. Find a way to donate to Portland Resistance. Find a way to donate to DSA. Find a way to be active in any way. Find a way to organize a small conversation in your kitchen, in your living room, in a park. And if you can find a way to do these things, you can find a way to open up these comfort zones and challenge your comfort and who you take these messages to. It starts with practice. Talk to each other, support each other, build that skill of communication. Not everybody over here is open to it, and that's totally fine. But there are many amongst us over here that's untapped. Powerful energy. Tap into it. If you have it in you, organize, get down, join the Sunday meetings that Portland Resistance puts together, be part of the conversation, find ways to fund them, and find ways to tool and create organizational support for them. Small plug? Is it okay for tomorrow? Plug that shit, yo. All right, plug that shit, yo. He said. Got permission. Godfather. But yeah, I'm gonna give him the title. But we are holding a vigil tomorrow as well. It complements the efforts that comes from this. It's inspired by true grassroots efforts that come from organizations like DSA and like Portland Resistance. Tomorrow in front of Terry Shrunk Plaza, we've allocated space to be able to mourn, pray, love, and then provide tools, take action. We'll be handing out flyers and stuff at the end to be able to empower folks, to be able to take action, to be able to end family separation, to be able to abolish ICE, to be able to give you guys tools and power continuously. It doesn't have to happen in one space, it can happen in multiple spaces. We're just one of them tomorrow. We're only taking space from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. After that, come back here. Or after this, go visit and then come back, wherever you guys can expand your energy. Again, thank you very much for coming here, for being part of this. Handing the mic back off.
Hey folks, can everybody hear me? All right. My name's Christian. I use he, him pronouns. I am undocumented. I just want to remind everybody here who is white and has a lot of privilege, not to call you out, but I'm calling you out. Know your privilege. Don't come in here with an agenda that's for you or your organization. If you're here, it's for a specific cause. Don't play or plan to be something you're not. Don't be making decisions for undocumented folks and people of color. Make sure that you listen to what they have to see. I mean, say, wow. And with that said, please, just create space for people of color. Don't take too much space if you're white. And don't be making decisions and saying stuff that is not what we're looking for. This issue didn't just start recently. It's been going for a long time. We are just bringing light to it right now. Family separations has happened every single day. People are getting deported every single day. I am glad that we're talking about border separations now. But I want to remind everybody that anybody who's undocumented is fair game now. Families have been separated, are being separated. So if you're really an ally, it's not just going to stop here. It's not going to stop at a prayer, at a vigil, at just coming for a week, coming for a few hours. It's going to continue going and growing, and show your support. It's not just a one-time thing. It's not just a trend. Be a true ally, and sometimes it hurts. It's not fun. Nasty things happen, but hey, if you're for the cause, you're for the cause. All right, thank you, everybody. Stay hydrated. There's water.
To all be allies to each other, though, too, at the same time.
Hello, everyone. I'm just going to share a little bit of why my parents decided to cross to the United States. So the violence in Mexico did not just start recently. It's been happening for years. The United States likes to stick its nose where it doesn't belong, and that's one of the reasons why there is a lot of violence, cartels, and drug consumption. So one of the things I saw when I was a kid was I did see when the police made deals with cartels. I got to see all of that. I got to see lives being taken. And just remember, for the people that are for the people who are here as allies, helping us with all of this, just remember that activism here is different than in Mexico. Let's not forget those 43 students that we don't know their whereabouts now. Police worked with cartels to create their disappearance. We haven't heard from them since. So just take advantage of the system here. There's more freedom here to do activism than there is in Mexico. In Mexico, if you go against your government, you die. So just remember that, use your privilege, advocate for the undocumented community, advocate for our people of color, and just remember the difference. And also, my family has been affected by the system. I've had family been deported. I have family in Texas who are currently in the system right now. So just remember, use your privilege, put your body on the line if you can. It's the allies' work, not the undocumented community. So please don't forget that, and just help as much as you can. Thank you. I just don't have much to say because I'm also an ally for my undocumented community myself, and I don't want to take up a lot of space. So thank you all, and I hope more people keep showing up. Thank you.
Hi guys, my name is Greg McKelvey. I'm an organizer with Portland's Resistance. I just wanted to say and give a shout out. Today is June 19th, also Juneteenth. And it's sad that we have to do this, but it is symbolic, I think, that we're all out here on Juneteenth fighting for the freedom of people of color in our society, and we're still we've had to do it since Juneteenth, before Juneteenth, and now even today. It's sad that we continue to have to do this, but I think it is symbolic, and I think it's powerful that communities of color, all different colors, are coming here to stand for something. I actually, I just had a baby 3 weeks ago. Well, I didn't have a baby, but my partner had a baby. His name is Stokely, named after Stokely Carmichael. We made a decision as a family today that we're going to move into this camp. As long as there's families being separated, our family is going to have to take a stand. And I couldn't live with myself if in 10 years, 12 years, I looked at him and said, sorry, we didn't do it because we thought you might cry too much. So I just encourage people, if you came here and you drove just one person, next time you come here, have a car full of 5 people and 5 tents. And let's make this a bigger thing so we can keep this going across the country. I also want to say, if we're talking about freeing people, we also have to talk about abolishing ICE, but also abolishing our prison system that continues to disproportionately lock up people of color. Just as we're a sanctuary city, right? But we have black people sitting in jail not too far from here because they're black, and then we have immigrants being deported out of Portland. We're not a sanctuary city. This is no sanctuary city. We have a mayor who really talks the big talk, just like any other mayor. He probably, in terms of rhetoric, opposes the federal administration as much as any mayor. That's not enough. Whose streets are these, right?
Our streets.
Whose streets?
Our streets.
Why is the street in front of ICE open? Right? If we're a sanctuary city, why does Kate Brown not shut down Oregon 43 right here, right? Why are cars even allowed to pull into this place? Whose road is that? They can easily shut down that road. Say it's construction. I don't care, right? Say there's a sewage problem. But they can shut down that road, right? There's no reason that we are a sanctuary city. We're opposing Donald Trump's policies, but we're going to let immigrants be drove on our roads out of our country. That's not okay. And so, because of that, I think that we should continue to call on the governor and the mayor. Don't send your police force here and do something to shut down these damn roads, right? That makes no sense. And eventually, we're going to have to shut down the roads if they're not going to do it. We shut down the roads, and then Ted Wheeler or Kate Brown are going to have to say why keeping that road open is more important than children in cages. So if they want to continue to arrest us night after night for shutting down a road that is deporting people from our country, then they're going to have to justify that, and they're going to have to stop claiming to be progressive, stop claiming to be in charge of a sanctuary city, and stop claiming to represent the people of Portland, because the people of Portland includes immigrants and people of color that are in the jails, and we don't want them in the jails, and we don't want them deported out of our country. Kate Brown, shut it down.
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 Thank you all.
Hi, my name is Richard, and I'm a Californian who's lived here in Oregon for a while. And yes, we do live in dark times, but seeing every one of you guys here today just lets me know that when one remembers to turn on the light, you know, it creates a spark to last. And with Trump's policies right now, everything that's going on since he's been elected in office has caused division, strife, and confusion. So in these times right now, we just need to just stand together, just like everyone else has been saying up here. And, you know, we really need to fight for what we believe in, because this isn't just about what we want individually. We need to stand for something that is right and together, so that way we can get what we accomplish, because they aren't representing us. No, they're not. They're not. So in other words, like, if we don't stand together, it's not gonna end with these 2, 3, 4-year-old children that are being detained right now. This is a war against class. This is a war against race and against their agendas. And they've been doing this even in Obama. On everything, the SA spying on everybody, you know, all straight Muslim ever. Now, this stops now. We are done with Trump's bullshit. Just because he has a smaller penis and wants to rule. And how do you go from claiming that Kim Jong is an enemy, and now you're fucking buddy with him? So my point is, this is history being made, and the revolution will be televised.
Amen.
Hello, my name is Mark Medina, and I'm a member and organizer with the Burgerville Workers Union. We are right now trying to mobilize as many of our members and our rank and file workers all across Portland and Washington to come to this action throughout the next couple of days. That labor, at least our union, is more than happy to stand in solidarity with our immigrant brothers and sisters, and we want to show our solidarity with that. So in the coming days, we want to be able to mobilize not just our members, but the members of the cross the labor movement to come here and support us. I wanted to speak on another issue, which is deal directly to this. About a year and a half ago, the Black and Brown Caucus of our union, made up of the membership, the minority membership of our union, voted on something to demand of the company, and starting with Burgerville, but ending with every company in Oregon and Washington, which is something that we called Sanctuary Burgerville, or Sanctuary in the Workplace. What that means is there's a system by which in Oregon and Washington that is voluntary, that companies voluntarily opt into, which is called E-Verify. It's a system by which employers can check the documentation status of workers. And while this administration is at war with immigrant families, we have an obligation as workers, as union members, as activists in our community to defend working class black and brown communities, and have an obligation to our immigrant brothers and sisters to not let them be deported. There's no reason why while this is a sanctuary state, you can allegedly walk freely across the streets of Portland. If you try to get a job or an occupation and you're undocumented, you can face the repercussion of having a knock of an ICE agent on the door for trying to feed yourself or feed your family. That's bullshit. That's not right. And it's time that we abolish that system of E-Verify. No worker should be afraid to come to work because of a knock on the door by ICE. What I hope that we can do in the labor movement, and specifically with our union, is codify for the first time in Oregon an actual contract that says undocumented workers in writing have rights equal to anyone else in the state of Oregon and Washington. What that will require of everyone is, in all your activist circles and everyone that you can do, if your employer uses E-Verify, make that known to the public. If your employer is pointing fingers at who doesn't have papers, make sure that the public knows who that employer is and shame them for removing it, because it's voluntary here in the state of Oregon. The Burgerville Workers Union and the IWW more than supports this organization, more than supports the abolition of ICE, and more than supports the protection and equality of all black and brown people and all immigrants across the country. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. Yeah. I'm Danielle, and I just wanted to say thank you and express my gratitude for everybody out here. Just look around. It's beautiful. I just wanted to say thank you, and this is what community looks like. Yeah. This is what community looks like.
Show me what community looks like.
This is what community looks like.
Show me what community looks like.
All right, thank y'all.
All right, I'll keep it quick. This goes out to my restaurant workers out there, my grocery store workers out there, my baristas, anybody in the service industry. Don't just blockade ICE here. Boycott them at your jobs. Boycott them in your community. Make them feel as unwelcomed as they make people who go through those doors. You don't have to serve them. Walk away. Pretend you didn't see them. Don't get fired, but don't serve them either. That's it.
Hi, everybody. My name's Lady Monte. I'm not going to take up too much space or time, but I feel like I have to a little bit because I think I'm usually the only intersex person in any crowd. You're accountable now because hating Trump because he has a small dick or is rumored to have a dick that is small is not a good enough reason to fuck that bastard. We're gonna fuck that bastard because he's a fucking asshole and he fucking lies and he divides. But I'm here to represent bodily diversity. I'm here to represent bodily autonomy. At 18 months old, I came into this life and was subjected to a clitorectomy, forced circumcision, and forced genital mutilation on my body because I was born in opposition to what a white, patriarchy, heteronormative society looks like. So fuck that shit, and fuck what Trump represents. At 18 months old, I was given a forced gonadectomy that changed my body, changed my chemistry, and changed how I grew up, and given a new fucking name and a new fucking birth certificate. So fuck this goddamn government that says you are a real human being once you get a piece of paper from a fucking slave nation. So fuck this shit, fuck Trump, and if anybody here is in my community, I don't want to hear a goddamn word about we hate Trump because he has a small dick again. We hate Trump because he's a fucking slave master and he's gonna fucking die. Bye.
All right, everybody, we're gonna hold a moment of silence, and I just want I just want everyone to remember why these asylum seekers are here, why they took the harrowing journey, hundreds of miles, thousands of miles. It's because of the conditions we created in those countries. In Honduras, 80% of the cocaine that we consume in this country goes through Honduras. In El Salvador, under the Clinton administration, we deported a bunch of people who were forced to grow up in poverty and live a gangster lifestyle in order to survive. We deported them back to El Salvador. And because they were treated like animals for so long, they brought that savagery with them back home. All of this is our doing. We create a horrible world, and when people come to our door knocking, saying, let us in, you burn down our houses, let us in, you burn down our fields, what are we doing? We're locking them in cages. That is the legacy of the country that we live in, of our government. Our government doesn't stand for freedom, liberty, and justice, but it can if you stand up. It can if you make a whole new history. It can if we refuse to take a step backwards, if we acknowledge where we've been, if we acknowledge the mistakes that we've made, if we acknowledge where we come from, and if we acknowledge that we are all on stolen land and live accordingly, we can create the greatest nation on earth. But that doesn't happen until we acknowledge where we came from. So right now, please take a moment of silence. We're going to be silent for 5 minutes. And please just contemplate what these folks have gone through, what they're going through, the kind of mental trauma that these children are undergoing right now, the abuse, the torture, because it is torture to not be touched when you are a child yearning for your parent, because they got taken away from you, because they got stripped from you, because they said they were taking you to take a bath, and they never brought you back. And then find it within yourself to do what it takes, to take the necessary steps to make sure that each and every one of these kids finds their family again. And that's not just here, that's not just showing up physically. That's being in your heart, knowing that it's going to happen and believing in it. That's being silent and listening. So we're going to take a moment of silence now. Sorry, everyone. So we're going to take a moment of silence, 5 minutes, and just think about what these folks are going through, and we're going to send them out our strength, and we're going to contemplate and find the strength within ourselves to keep this fight going. Thank you, everybody. So now, the vigil's over. I want everybody here to do me a favor. We're going to do this every single night so that we know who we are. We're going to look to the person to the right of us, to the left of us, and we're going to tell them, I am your relative and you are mine. Tell them, I am your family and you are mine.
I'm your family and you are mine.
Tell them, we are a community.
We are a community.
Thank you for having my back. I will have yours.
Thanks for having my back. I'll have yours. Hey, what's your name, man? I've seen you.
And remember to have their backs. Remember to stand up. Remember to fight back. This movement can't just stay in Portland. It needs to spread across the country. We need to blockade every ICE facility in every single city in this country, especially sanctuary cities, especially sanctuary states. I'm calling out the politicians right now. Come out and support this or face us in the election. I'm calling out Tacoma right now. You guys are strong. You guys fight back. That's what Seattle does.
Yeah.
That's what they do. Tacoma, it's time for you to step up. Fight back. Control the ICE facility. Surround it. Do what it takes. Fight back. I'm calling out Tacoma. I'm calling out San Francisco. I'm calling out every city in this country. If there are anti-fascists in that city, come out. Start a camp. Fight back.
Take down the wall!
Everyone fight back! We can't all go to the border. We can't all go to Washington, D.C. But we can take the streets in our cities. We can control our cities. And we can let every single immigrant know they are not alone. Also, just so you know, we have a medic tent now. That's awesome. And we are now going to have a meeting, decision-making process. If you'd like to be part of that, please stick around. Thank you for being out here. Fight back every day.